Style show that we do every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And fix the back of the tie. Oh, because it's sticking out. Jameson with the good looks. Jameson says, Chris, I've tied a tie or two in my life. I went with a full Windsor tonight. I went with a full Windsor tonight because it's a special occasion. It's a special occasion of what we're doing today. I'm about to have my whole dating life dissected by Dr. Marissa, our second guest. But before we do that, we've got Juliana. Juliana is an up-and-coming musician. She's a singer. She's a songwriter. She has an incredible story about how she views her music and its place in the world. It goes far beyond the typical, I'm here to spread good cheer and have people enjoy it. There's many worthy causes that motivate her that hit very close to home. So if any of you are looking for a musician to support that also writes and has the mindfulness to think beyond just the songwriting process, that's the interview for you. I want to give a special shout out and thank you to everyone who participated. There were two videos that were sent to me and for my birthday, and they were compilations of people who just wanted to talk about the impact that the app has had, and specifically myself. And I this terminology gets thrown around a lot. I really was emotionally impacted from it. I like the teary-eyedness. There's a little bit of onion cutting. I was so blown away. I was so surprised. A huge shout out to Nicole, to Kim, and to Abby for putting that together. I was completely in the dark about it, had no idea. And then to be surprised on my birthday with over 14 minutes of testimonials of people talking about just the connections that had been made and the importance of it, it moved me. It really moved me. Thank you so much to everyone who had done that. To everyone who wished me happy birthday, huge shout out and thank you to you. So that's what I was going to say about it. So I'm officially down to the wire to my 30s. It's T minus, right? We've got it on the clock. I'm 29 years old, everyone. Thank you for the birthday wishes. I couldn't have been a better birthday. So thank you so much for that. Today on the show, I am almost kind of like one of the guests because Dr. Marissa is going to she's gonna give me the lowdown. She's gonna fill me in and tell me how it is. She said, Chris, can I swear? And I said, I don't know. You tell me. And she hit me with it. She's like, I'm not gonna give you the BS, Chris. And we're gonna let you know because we got some things we gotta get sorted out. And I'm like, all right, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it on the show. We're gonna do it on the show. So welcome to Suited Up. By the way, if you're just tuning in, welcome to it. My name's Chris. This is Suit Up. We do this every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There's a ton of great content on the app. I want to give a special shout out to More Misery. More Misery. If he's in the comments still, do there he is. More Misery. No. It's something to the effect of that. I want to give a special shout out to him. His show premieres tonight, officially, bannered and all. So if you're into cute, fluffy animals, if tonight's content is not your cup of tea, in this stream, I promise you, not Blake. I saw Beth Blake's lawyer pop up. Moore has got funny, cool animals to show you. Every week he has a pet of the week. He's got pets in the news. He's got that's his dog. It's actually pronounced that way. I have a better shot at pronouncing the names on the leaderboard this Friday for the contest than I do Moore's dog. I'm sorry, Slavarkerberg. So check out. Is very good. Thank you, Moore. Check out his show at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. On that note, though, I think we should go ahead and get things started. So, Juliana, can you request that box? This is our first time, everyone, using this feature. This is their first time ever using this feature. She's brand new to the platform. She's coming in. There's only two guests tonight. Andrew knows. If this is your first time here, there's typically three guests. for this week, there's a segment dedicated to getting real about the way I've approached dating. And I figure, you know what? Instead of cutting Dr. Marissa short and having her segment about herself be not full length, let's just extend the time that she has in the box so that way we can get the full conversation. Because the details might get gritty. Who knows? Maybe I'll even cry. Maybe I'll not disappoint my mom. She watches this. Shout out to my mom. I don't know. I could. What if I became emotional? It's possible. It's possible. Call in one more time for Juliana. Juliana, if you're here, I know you're learning how to use the feature. If you would like to request the box, what you do is and I hope you would like to request the box, you schedule it. There she goes. There she goes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, our first guest of the evening. She's an up and coming musician. Today marks the launch of her brand new album. Our first guest of the evening is Juliana. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing super swell. Look at you. You've already got your phone figured out and everything.
No, it's in my drawer on my nightstand.
Innovative. I
Yes.
but from this side it looks perfect. So it's great. We met each other today.
Yes, we did.
Yeah. And this is all just happening so fast. I know. So for the people who are being introduced to you today, like myself, there's a few things that they should know about you, but I think they're best said through you. You're a musician, and what type of musician would you classify yourself as?
Ooh. So I am a singer-songwriter.
Mhm.
I play piano, guitar, ukulele, all the fun kind of auxiliary percussion instruments. Um, and yeah, I'd say the genre that I'm most comfortable in or that I write the most in is kind of like you know, a weird cross between pop, folk, and jazz. So it's like, yeah,
The first word you use to describe your music is, I would say, weird. You said
yeah,
it's a weird pop funk,
yeah.
maybe. I don't know. Um, th-
Um, yeah,
I've listened to your music myself, and I would label as folky,
yeah.
definitely. And if weird is an endearing word, I'm all for it.
All
We can
right,
do it together.
awesome.
Okay, very good. Today's a special day though because you've officially launched. Is this your first full-length release?
It is.
Where is this in your discography?
So, so far I've released three or four singles, um, separate from the album, and there was one single from the album that I had released a couple months back, but this is my first full length LP. Um, and there's a deluxe edition coming out next month. Two bonus tracks, but that's where we're at right now. So there's 10 songs on this album.
Wow, deluxe edition. Does that mean that you're producing physical copies?
I am. Yes,
What?
next month.
That is so cool. Are hard pressed like records or CDs, tapes?
So CDs first, and then March. My birthday's in March, so you can probably see it in the background, my record player. Love records, so we'll probably have some records, some vinyls coming out in March. But
Wow.
CDs first. We'll stick to CDs first.
Piece first, then hitting it with the vinyl. It's so cool. That is so cool. You have a history of being a performer and the musician, and art runs through your veins. You were born into an artistic family. Let's take it back a little bit because I just from hearing the small amount that I heard already, what makes your music that much more significant is what motivates your writing process. And it's honestly incredible. So if we can start from the beginning, you mentioned to me that your mom was involved with art. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So my mom was actually born in Portugal. Her whole side of the family is Portuguese, and they immigrated here when she was like 3 or 4. But then they would go back every summer, and she kind of, their culture is very artistic to begin with. So she just, fell in love with art and mostly like graphic design, drawing and painting, and she put herself through college at the School of Visual Arts in the city. And then, she always had this artistic way about her and everything she did, even though she didn't, you know, have a career in art after college. No one actually told her how to apply that to a job,
Yeah.
but everything that she touched just had like um this artistic flair to it. There was just so much love in it. So that was kind of where my passion for art started. Um, and like family, I don't remember, but family members would tell me like when I was really little, like I'd just be blabbing around, you know, talking and singing like all day long when I was really little. And then once I started getting into school in elementary school, that's kind of when I had music teachers that gave me opportunities that would like, okay, you want to sing? Like, we'll just put you out front, like, sing your little heart out. And then um, I wrote my first song in fifth grade. I think I was 11 years old. And that's kind of really where my musical journey really started, where I kind of knew that that was what I wanted to do with my life.
Fifth grade, and she was more of a tactile, hands-on type of artist. Was she a singer or herself?
No,
No. So this
no,
is all manifested from
all
yourself.
art. Yeah, like,
Wow.
yeah.
Fifth grade, you're starting to learn to sing and you write your own song. How does this journey, if we can expedite through some of the story, this journey becomes much more personal? How does this become to develop for you?
Yeah. So, start writing in fifth grade, and then I kind of continue it. And in high school, I had another really amazing music teacher who really pushed me, to go beyond just writing. So, make a website and start playing gigs in town, and start looking at schools where I could go to college for music, and kind of push myself beyond that point. And I was very thankful to have parents who pushed me and were supportive of me wanting to do what I loved.
Yeah.
And that, again, like, that was something that my mom really helped me with, because she understood that like artistic part. Um, and so that was kind of my journey. And then my senior year of high school, at the beginning of my senior year, my mom was suffering from headaches, and they did some scans, and they found out that her breast cancer had metastasized. So when I was in middle school, she started um, therapy for breast cancer, and then it went into remission, but then obviously it came back. And so she ended up passing away in April the following year. But from October until April, like, she fought so hard, and she she was known in the hospital as like the miracle patient, because she just kept breaking all the barriers that they said that she wasn't going to. Um, and she fought until she got home, because she wanted to, be around family. But so her whole life she dedicated to helping others. Um, and she was the youth group leader at our church. She helped out with Meals on Wheels, with mission trips and retreats, and just in the community in general. And she always kind of inspired me to want to be proactive.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until like she really got sick that I was like, okay, I need to kind of continue her mission. She's not going to be around. And um, that's when I really solidified my mission, that I wanted to give back through my music, because in every aspect of her giving back, she had this artistic beauty to it. So I was like, okay, she could use her art to help others. Like, that's something that I want to do.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and kind of I started a benefit concert where the high school students were able to get real life hands-on experience, and that continued actually until this past year with COVID, which was really cool to actually be able to come back and help them out. And we raised money for a different charity every year.
Put
And
some of the story into context, just to pause for a moment. About how long ago was all of this happening?
uh, it was 2017, so
So
about 3.5 years ago.
Recently, really. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
in,
pretty recent.
in the great scheme of things, recently. Um, throughout it, throughout this experience, music, has it been something that you've used to express yourself? Do you find it's more of that you were performing covers and relating? How was your artistic process developed through this, or do you feel that it developed later, or you're still learning? Help us understand a little bit of your mindset around it.
Well, always learning,
Mhm.
but I will say music was always there for me um, when things were tough. And I think, I started writing in fifth grade, and then sixth grade, middle school, kind of, that was when my mom first got sick. So that's when I really started to lean into it. And then obviously, like when this happened, that's kind of when I really, really leaned into it. Um, and just drawing information or inspiration from, you know, experiences, stories. One of my favorite things to write about is stories, whether it's,
Wow.
my story or if it's other people's stories. Because I think that that's really important. You never know how long someone's going to be here. So, like, just pulling that inspiration. But yeah, it's definitely been a form of therapy, but also a way, kind of like a little puzzle you got to figure out, because it's like a way for you to express how you're feeling or your experience, but also a way to relate that to other people and to fit that into their experience as well.
You do that through different mediums as well. Not only your vocalist, your guitarist, your pianist. Were you able to adopt also some of the tactile expression through physical art, or was more of yours through music? As you mentioned, your mom, she was a graphic designer. Is that also fall into your skill set?
A little bit. I recently, funny enough, got into digital marketing. And I've been working a lot with content creation there. Um,
Hmm.
and then obviously, like along with the music, I've been working on content creation. I wouldn't consider myself a graphic designer. I don't think I'm like there. I definitely can make something look really nice, but yeah, and I wouldn't consider myself like I would consider music my focus for sure.
I had cut you off. You were talking about the fundraisers, the music events that you were putting on. Can you revisit that and talk to us a little about how that got started, what kicked it off, what motivated you?
Yeah, absolutely. So, it was actually around the time that my mom passed away. My We found out that there was a little boy in our community who had brain cancer, um, and this will kind of tie into the album release. But one thing that my mom was really passionate about, especially when she was sick, is, we would be talking to her, or we would feel bad for her, or we would, be sad. Obviously, the situation is a sad situation, but she would always say, I'm going through something, but there are little kids that have to go through even worse than this. Like, they have to go through cancer. So, one of the, really just struck a chord with me when I heard this story of this kid. I was like, okay, like, I'm being called to do something right now. My mom is passing away, and this story came up, and I was like, okay, this is my chance. Like, this is our starting point for this next journey. And so I worked with my teacher. I was like, I want a way to showcase. Oh, we were figuring out a capstone project for senior year. That's what it was.
Mm.
And then, so it was a way to kind of, um, what's the word? Showcase the music that I had been working on. And I was like, I just want to get as many people involved as we can. And so that's where the kind of student ran aspect came into play. Um, we had recently just gotten a new high school, and the auditorium was like state of the art. So we had all this cool equipment, and I was like, I want the kids to get like real life experience, and I want, you know, the community to come to the auditorium and we'll do tickets. I think the first year tickets were only $1, and we ended up raising over $600 to give to this family. And then um, every year after that, the community was growing, and we were raising more and more money for each cause that we did every year.
Wow. You said that it'll make sense in terms of this project. So this project that you just finished, what is it encompass? What is the story behind it? Because you're motivated through story. You fashion things through story. What is the story on this album?
So the album's titled Exit 4, and Exit 4, it was actually at the beginning of last year that I realized when I was driving back up to college that I took Exit 4 on the way up to get to school, and then when I was coming home, I took Exit 4 to get home on the same highway, or not the same highway, but whatever. It was like the same exit in two different states. So
Wow.
it's like there's something to be said about a journey that starts and ends symbolically in the same fashion.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of ran with that, and the whole album is really about, experiencing, observing, overcoming, and growing. And it's a reflection of my journey through, the tragedies of that last year of high school, and then, really making something of it through my journey at college. And I just graduated this last semester.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So this was kind of a culmination of that. And then today's actually my mom's birthday. And I knew that I wanted to release the album on her birthday. And then all of the proceeds from physical copy sales, merch sales, and all of the royalties from the streams for this first week are going toward childhood cancer research. So
Wow. It's the vision that you have for yourself and the purpose. There's people who spend their entire life looking for purpose. And when going through loss, I don't think anyone blames someone for losing a feeling of their purpose or what is important to them. It's the opposite with you though, that it's galvanized you, it's motivated you into this clear direction of, I know purpose. I know what is meaningful to me, and me being you. And that's just, it's inspiring. It honestly is inspiring. I don't know if there's anyone here listening right now who doesn't in some way feel inspired by everything that you just said. Wow, just your purpose is incredible. The music that you've written, I asked if you would be willing to share a piece of it tonight. Are you prepared to give us a performance from your album that has released today?
no, yeah, let's do it.
Wow. All right, let's do this. All right. Well, if you're just tuning in, everyone, Juliana has just shared her incredible story on her path to becoming the musician that she is. She has released her new album, Exit 4, today, and you are now about to hear a selection from it. Juliana, the floor is yours.
Alrighty. This one's called City Bound, and it's the second track on the album. There was this time I dreamed that I didn't make it through the night. Abruptly wake and wide, I wanted to cry that whole bus ride. Stared out my window, time passed so slow, till my stop was roadside. One foot on the ground, no turning back now. One bound. City bound. Each month went day by day, afraid of the ever-present change. Oh, up in my room and on the roof, I spend most of my days. Caught in between a rusty old dream and a shiny new routine. But being safe and sound's not what it's about, you see. Yeah, one light in the window, nobody's home. I lost sight of my shadow a year ago. Little birdie persuading me, fly away and never come down. Tempting now, but I'll stick with the greyhound. Oh, city bound, darling. Oh, city bound, yeah. My Empire City bound.
I'm gonna let the comments speak for it. Wow. You I you're very good. You're
Thank
very
you.
good. Wow. Um I, as I said earlier, purpose. You know, writing with purpose. In I, people talk so often of what creative expression can be through music. I think it's one thing to sing. I think it's another to write. It's entirely something different to feel what you perform. And they talk about a writer having a voice, and when you read it, being able to understand the writer's voice, you have a performer's presence. I think that's what makes your performing so powerful. Is that you have a unique presence and something so purely pure about what you do when you perform. That was incredible.
Thank you. That means so.
Fantastic, fantastic job. Wow. I just dumped out a bunch of Campbell's soup words. I was trying to think what I should say. It's not too often like I do this and that I feel like I'm stuck. And I said what I said, and I hope it was the right thing. I hope it was the right thing because I feel like so many times it's yeah, it was great job. Wow, what a talent. But just understanding the context of why you write, how you perform, and why you perform, it puts it at a different level. Wow. Um, on a side note, make sure if you've not, drop her a favorite. Juliana, give her a favorite. This is her first time using the platform. First time ever using the platform. Let's make sure that she understands the warm welcome that she needs to have here. Let's cut into that for a second. I asked you when I first talked with you earlier today, have you heard of live streaming before? You said no. What has been your impression of all this? Give us the cold take. What does this all look like to you? What does this even feel like?
It's like crazy. I see a bunch of stuff on my screen all the time, so that's
Mhm.
pretty fun. People keep sending roses, which is funny because my mom loved roses, so I appreciate you guys.
Not the
Um,
There you go. Wrong person, Jameson. There you go. Yeah,
But
yeah, it is. It is a funny experience. Does this seem I guess you under the idea of people being able to see you and interact with you all across the world? Is that a new concept to you? Have you done any type of performing outside of in on a stage in front of crowds?
I have done a couple like Instagram live streams, but I've never done something where, I could connect with people all over the world. That's crazy. Hello everybody. Thank you guys for listening.
Yeah,
But this is a really cool experience and I really appreciate it.
yeah. Well, we hope, I'm speaking for everyone watching it now, we hope that you will continue to do this and perform and go live so that people can hear more of your story and you can hear some of theirs and find some common ground. Do some more performances. One more time, can you plug the name of your album, where people can find it if they'd like to hear more?
All right. So the album is Exit 4. Um the 4 is spelt a little weird. It's FO bracket U bracket R. And the reason behind that is it kind of gives the title a second meaning because sometimes you have to take the exit for you. Um, I know it's kind of cheesy.
That that's good. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, so Exit 4, Apple Music, Spotify, I think it's on YouTube, Amazon Music, wherever you listen to music, it's there. Juliana Sweeney, my name's here.
Mhm.
You can see it. And Instagram, Juliana underscore Sweeney. And then Facebook, Juliana Sweeney Music. But yeah.
Awesome. Are there any last things that you'd like to plug, talk about, say before we start to wrap up our conversation today?
Um, let's see. I don't think so. Just remember that all streams and if you're interested in merch or physical copies, all proceeds go to childhood cancer research. So it's all going to a good cause.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on, giving us this performance, and I look forward to connecting with you a little bit later down the line to see how things are going. And I know everyone here will look forward to it. So until then, we'll be in touch. So much love. Thank you, Juliana. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for the one time, hit that favorite. Our first guest tonight, Miss Juliana Sweeney. Congratulations on the album release.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys.
See you soon. Bye. Hey, there you go, everyone. Wow. I put that one in the books of Chris word vomit. I mean, what do you expect me to say after a performance like that? I just said words need to happen now, and they're hard. Those words were hard. Thank you for tuning in, everyone. My name is Chris Casper. This is Suit Up. This is a show we do every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's an interview style show where we bring on guests from on and off of the app. They could be up and coming streamers, top streamers, talented individuals like you just met, like you just saw. Sometimes they happen to even be a doctor. So our next guest goes by the name of Dr. Marissa, and she's the real deal. She is the real deal. And she is in it to give you the real deal so that you can learn about yourself and what might be holding you back or ways that you can live a positive and happy life. You're going to see a whole lot more of her, so let's get to know her here and now together. Ladies and gentlemen, our second guest of the evening, Miss Dr. Marissa. Dr. Marissa, it's good to see you. I'm blown away right now. This is just a great night. Yeah. Well, I mean, we're here. You have had experiences with the people as well that have been very personal. It's your line of work that you go through every day. And so here we are. So for the people who have not met you, you are Dr. Marissa. Now, what type of doctor are you? stuff, and you were talking about dating life in the same sentence. That's it's like almost an oxymoron.
Well, I think dating is fun. And when I was thinking about it, I'm like, this is fun. Being on Meet Me and being with you, I'm like, I couldn't imagine doing this a year ago as some sort of part of my career. So, what an experience for me to be here and to add this.
Before focusing on love, were you focused on a different field or different specialization?
I've done a lot of work with relationships, whether that's parent-child relationships, couples, people grieving, lost love. I do a lot of grief work, breakups, if there's a death in the family, lost love, lost friendships. So that's a lot of my work, and making people enjoy their relationships more and communicate better, and generally just feel more love in their lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Relationships and relationship advice, it's almost the cliche thing that everyone has an opinion on. But not all opinions on it are created equally. You're obviously coming from a place of expertise. What goes into understanding in the Campbell's soup version of what you can tell us? What is some of the fundamental baseline understanding of what makes someone a relationship expert versus your best friend on the phone?
Well, I mean, your best friend on the phone can be an expert to you, I guess.
Sure.
They say an expert has 15,000 hours of doing what they claim to be an expert in. So, I haven't counted, but I really do believe after 15 years of being a psychologist, I have those hours. And after you've sat in enough rooms and been with enough clients, you start feeling like this is second nature. Like you see the commonalities that people struggle with, and the way, like you could really see easily, like, oh, like here's a skill, or here's something you can try, or shift your mindset this way. So yeah.
So, spoiler alert, your love problems might not be that special.
Maybe not.
Maybe not? Oh no.
I mean, they're special to you, but we're humans, so we all fall in the human condition. We all have, pain and lost love, and issues with our attachment, issues with childhood stuff. There's, it's just part of being human.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Do you want to feel like your love problems are unique to only you?
At least there'd be a reason, right?
Okay.
Right. I mean, I almost feel like if they're special in a way, then maybe there's a purpose or reason behind it. I don't know. That's a question maybe we can save for in a few minutes.
We'll save it. We'll save
Yeah.
Are you talking about the person being special or the problem?
The problem.
The problem.
The problem being special. Yeah. I'm curious, what gets someone interested in doing this type of work as a profession? Had you always had an interest in people's problems or wanting to help people? What was your approach and how did you get into it?
Yeah, I really think it's more of wanting to help. I've always been drawn to help people with their problems, and going into a helping profession. And when I was in college, like years and years ago, I majored in psychology. And then after, I worked for a therapist, and I saw how much and profoundly she helped people. And I decided then, I'm like, this is what I want to do with my life. So then, went through that journey. I worked with so many different kinds of people. I've worked with seniors, I've worked with kids, I've worked with actors and performers, I've worked with journalists, I've worked with teens, I've worked with people in 12-step programs. Yeah.
Yeah. You name dropped during our first conversation a particular group that you were part of that had a few comedians in it. Care to tell us how you got involved in the comedic space?
Oh, yeah. So I saw this job advertised at Upright Citizens Brigade in New York City. There's one in LA as well, and they were looking for a therapist for their community. I'm like, well, that's pretty cool. So I just applied, and I guess I said something or things that made them feel that I would be right for their community.
Mhm.
And I worked there for 3 years, and I worked with writers, the producers, the actors, improvisers, the teachers in the community, and it was just really awesome.
Was it
Um,
is it Amy Poehler? Uh,
yeah, started it with three other dudes.
mhm,
It I think in pandemic, at least the New York one closed down,
mhm,
unfortunately.
mhm.
Yeah, but it was definitely a fun experience.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And then you wind up down the line here. So welcome,
I
welcome,
did.
welcome to meet me. Uh,
Thank you. I did. Well, I said, I would love to have a show talking about love and dating and psychology and how you live your best life. And here I am.
mhm.
I know there is another show, and Chris, you're like, well, more more the merrier. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. Good relationship content is never in or is always in short supply, I should say. It just seems to be something that everyone naturally gravitates to want to hear about. I mean, if someone's gossiping or talking and it deals with relationships, I feel though people always want to at least hear a little bit of what's going on. Why are relationships so interesting? Especially drama in relationships is a loaded question, but in your expert opinion.
I think we all relate to them. We all relate to the joy and the pain and like the love and the lust. And, when someone's going through it, you've probably gone through something like that before. And so there's this appeal, like either wanting to help someone or wanting to guide them through this or just being in their shoes or wanting what they have, whether it's like real good love or seeing that and wanting that for yourself. So there's always this draw of wanting to know more about love and wanting to help people and having love for yourself.
Yeah, yeah. Um, do you find that it's a matter of perception usually, or what is if you had to give us the greatest hits of what you hear the most often and what the problem is there a usual story, or does it come down to typically it's a different scenario for each person? So short question, is there greatest hits of this is usually your relationship problem?
Well, I hear a lot that people are in the same pattern or they date the same kind of people and they are trying to get out of that pattern.
Mhm.
Um, so that I hear the most. Like, how do I get out of this pattern? How do I stop dating this type of woman? How do I stop dating this type of man? Because I know like this isn't helping me. I know that this is not what I want, but I'm so drawn to it and I can't stop. So I hear that so much. Wanting a healthier relationship, wanting more love, but like stumbling and not really sure why people end up in the same predicament or same problem over and over again.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. Oh, I feel my questions coming, so I'm gonna set them aside because we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
you said just a few moments ago that you had wanted to have a relationship show or a show that centered around helping people specifically in their relationships. Have you had a dream of being in entertainment, or was this something that has slowly started to surface? What is the context of that?
I would say slowly starting to surface. I loved working in the entertainment industry when I worked at UCB, and I was working with, the performers and producers and all of that. So I really loved that, and I also wanted to have more fun in my work. So I guess that manifested this way a couple years later. Uh, yeah, you never know. I'm just so open to uh, turns in my life and opportunities that when you're open and creative, those things start coming to you. And that's something else I'll help people with. Like, how do I become more open? How do I become more creative? How does my life get bigger?
Mhm.
Um, because people always are thinking about like I'm stuck. How do I unstick myself? And that's something I know how to do. Like I've done that for myself, and I've helped other people do that too.
And here you have an entire platform of mostly single people who probably have a question or two. So you may have just hit a jackpot of
Nice.
potential content and resources. I don't know. That would be my first guess. I know I could put myself in that bucket. So on that note of putting myself in that bucket, Dr. Marissa, I agreed to the we had one performance, it was a vocal performance. Now here we have another type of performance, which is getting my head put on straight potentially. So it's no secret that I'm not the best at dating. So Dr. Marissa, what what is the right way to approach this when it comes to starting to take the right step forward in Chris's pursuit of happiness and potentially love?
Well, it really depends what you want. I would say, what do you want? That's to you. That's your question. What do you want?
There's no rhetoricals here. To be happy. I'd like to be happy.
Okay.
Which is, I know, a simple answer, but it's a loaded one.
Okay. Do you want a girlfriend?
I think so.
You do.
Um, I like I like the idea of it, but it
Okay.
usually winds up bad for me when I go about it.
Okay. So there's a part of you that is kind of stuck in the past thinking, it usually goes bad, so I might be worried that something might go bad in the future. Um,
Yeah, I wouldn't say that I doom it in my mind so it just fails. Um, to give it some foundation of where our story is, I was single up until I was 18. I
mhm.
dated this person for about a year,
Okay.
broke up with her, just realized we were not the right fit. She was great. We had a healthy relationship. Just we were two different people. I was about 19. A couple months later, I started dating another person who things got very, very serious with. We ended up living in the same house together. Like it was just our house. I thought we were going to get married. We fought a lot. We were very codependent. I lost all my friends in that relationship.
Wow.
And then when I exited that relationship, I went on this entire rediscovery journey where I quit wearing glasses. I got really in shape. And I started doing some unsavory nightlife style activities. And that ran its course for probably 4 or 5 years. It really caught up to me in a lot of bad ways.
Okay.
Um, so I was single from 2013 until about last year,
Okay.
and I became exclusive and in a relationship with a person that I had met on here. She wasn't a streamer. We kept our relationship very secret, and that lasted for about a year.
Mhm.
And then since then, ever since that breakup, it's pretty much just been focused on work.
Okay. Okay. How long has it been since the breakup?
Well, we tried again towards the beginning of this year. I think it was like January, February, maybe.
Okay. Do you feel ready to move on?
I don't know what that actually looks like.
Okay. What is it?
I think about the people that I've dated all the time. And
Okay.
in anyone that I start to date, I immediately compare to my exes, which is
Okay.
probably not a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a setup for them not being as good as your exes, or, them having to equal or add up to something. And that's probably going to set you up for, not seeing them as their full unique self. Um, so why do you think you do that?
I know for one that I do it to myself. So I know comparison is supposed to be the thief of joy, but in my mind, I work really, really hard to feel that I am not second to anything that potentially they may have had in a relationship prior. And it's a hell of a toxic trait to have. It gets myself into a lot of trouble with confidence and hyperfixation, jealousy. So that's definitely not good. Um, but also, I think I do this really horrible thing of looking at dating as like achievements. And the people that I date as almost part of a stage or a step in the progression of who I am as a person. As in, like, if I hadn't lost this weight, started making more money, or got in shape, or whatever cliche you want to throw on it, I
Mhm.
probably wouldn't have been able to date this person. And then I apply that mentality and mindset towards who my future partners might be. That if I become super invested in someone right now, am I letting go potentially the opportunity of finding someone that I'll like even more or connect better with later down the line? And then I think about some of my exes and go, well, they were a lot of those things. You're just stupid and a dick. So it's just, I really beat myself up for it. And then I hyper invest in my work and then I don't sleep. And now I talk to a doctor in a live stream watched by hundreds of people, which is totally fine.
Yeah, yeah. It seems like you're really in your head about this, that you spend a lot of mental energy thinking about relationships, like past and future, and like if you're enough, and like what you need to be to, get to someone you want. But I would say, like, do you like legitimately feel like you're enough? Like, you don't have to lose weight or put on glasses or anything. Like,
No. In fact, someone that I had started talking with, it ultimately ended up being self-sabotage because they felt that my lack of security in myself was ultimately going to be catastrophic in the relationship. This person was very emotionally intelligent. They were way better than anything that a stage that I think I deserved to be at. And I think about that too. So it's tough to screw it up when you focus just on things that you know that you're doing well at or want to believe that you're doing well at. And so if I avoid relationships and I just keep kicking this can down the line thinking, well, maybe when I'm 31 or 35 or 45, but I'm really worried about that day, that 31, 45, or whatever rolls
Mhm.
around, that I'm just so used to and comfortable with the person that I am that I've completely blocked off the ability to have compromise in a relationship or know what the difference is between healthy compromise in a relationship versus being stuck in the person that I am. This is all super, super
Yeah,
low.
again, you spend a lot of time with us. So I would stay more in the present where we are right now. And it really sounds like you would do yourself so much justice by filling yourself up with the self worth, self love, and really feeling steady in how awesome you are. Because I see it, I'm sure people here see it, but like for you to really feel it and see it every day where you don't need any validation, you don't need a woman to look or be a certain way because like you're good no matter what. It will get you out of your head and you'll naturally attract someone you want to be with. So right now while you're single, it's about you.
But I'm good at that. I've stayed
You're
single
good at that?
most I've stayed single most of my life is the thing. Is I'm very content and secure in running my late nights of typing on my computer and laughing at YouTube videos and playing my strategy games and collecting trading cards, blah blah blah. I'm used to it. It's comfortable. It's easy for me. It's when I have to start to break those routines that I get afraid of losing the world and things that I like to do. And I really get that it's probably about finding a partner that complements and enhances those experiences rather than detracting and taking them away from me.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
But ah, eh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, I think you're right. I think you want to date someone who has a growth mindset too. Like you're growing, you're on a journey of, self-love, self-discovery. You want to find someone else who's on a similar journey where like you're not worried she's going to come in and take something away from you. Like she will add to your life and you will add to her life. But it like really starts with feeling totally secure in yourself, which is a journey. Like you just turned 29, right?
I did. I just turned
Happy
29.
birthday. And like,
Thank you.
I think you are exactly where you need to be. Um, like what I'm hearing is like very appropriate late 20s, early 30s, like questioning, feeling good, not wanting someone to take something away, but also like wanting love. So,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, it sounds like you're doing a lot right.
Do you do you think that there's truth to that cliche, which I have ringing in my head always, of you don't want to be the 45 or 50-year-old guy who's single and just cares about his money or his career and sacrificed ever having some sort of interpersonal connection or value. Because I I don't know where I even sit with all of that. And I know you said speak in the present, but I believe that if I don't think about my future, that I'm doomed to fail it. And so,
It sounds like a big fear of yours that that's what how you're going to end
very
up.
future oriented. Yeah, always.
Yeah, it sounds like a fear, and our fears aren't real. They're just in our head. You're just creating this as a possibility. I mean, it's not going to just happen to you where you're going to wake up in 12 years and, 20 years, and this will be your life. You're going to be creating your life. And I don't see why you need to create a life that looks like that for yourself. It's a choice. These are all choices. You have you have so much time too.
I hope. All
You
right.
hope.
Let Before we start to go, I just have a couple in your opinions, which again are probably super vague and loaded. But first one, I, I dwell over my exes a lot and think I idealize them, and I think, well, if I would have stuck it out, or maybe I wasn't being fair, or I had approached this incorrectly. A lot of times I idealize the relationship to think there are so many things about this person that were just perfect and right. And it could have been that I just needed to course correct a little bit. And it was in terms of light compromise, not that it was character defining flaws. Do you believe
Mhm,
that that adage, X's are X's for a reason, is true?
mhm. Yes.
You do. You do believe that.
And not only that, I think that you're giving your energy away. All the time spent thinking about it, reliving the relationship, regrets, what could I have done better? Maybe if I did this and not this, is really taking away to like finding joy in your present and being open to more love. Because when we go back and we sit in the past and relive the past, like that could lead to depression and just feeling pretty bad. And we live in the future, like what you were saying, like I don't want to be 50 and just have money and like no wife, kids, whatever you actually do want. That's going to make you feel bad too, because that creates anxiety and fear. So what's really needed is to live in the present, appreciating your life, loving yourself, and being open to possibilities.
All right.
Yeah.
What are my actionable takeaways to start to summarize our quick love crash course? Do you
Okay.
see any actionable takeaways for myself or anyone who's listening who thinks they can relate to my situation?
Okay. Check yourself when you are spending too much time in the past or the future. Remind yourself that only the present is real and only the present is opportunity to feel love. I'm going to teach people how to meditate because I think that is kind of the key to life. We are going to practice affirmations and journaling and ways to feel good right now, because what you focus on grows. And if you focus on feeling good now, those good feelings burst through your life.
Mm.
Uh, yep. So, how you think affects how you feel. How you feel affects the choices you make, and then that affects your reality. So, your thinking is very important, and staying in the present is very important.
It's probably why I eat so much. I'm being serious. Like I mean, I see that food and I'm just like, hey, I know you get it. Yes, I'm being serious. Um, Before we wrap up, you're hinting on touching on something that's upcoming. You will have a show here on the platform. You're starting to stream.
Mhm.
You just dropped a few ideas and concepts of things that will happen on your show. Will you give us the crash course, a little bit of an idea of what is the Dr. Marissa show and what can we look forward to seeing?
Absolutely. So, I am going to be talking about how to live your best life and giving you skills to learn how to do that, not just talking about, oh, don't do this. It's going to be like, where are you now? And what are things you can really do to step it up and get to that life you want? I'm going to have guests, my doctor friends, my colleagues, just friends, comedians, teachers,